Well, let me start by saying that. You're not paying for it. This is the first privately funded sports and entertainment district in the history of Arizona. And typically what happens is there are bonds issued that are backed by the taxpayers, that are guaranteed by the taxpayers, that are repaid by the taxpayers, and they build the buildings and build the arenas and the stadiums. And then those buildings and the arenas don't ever pay taxes ever, right? That is literally the case for every other sports facility in Arizona. Sun Devil Stadium, Chase, Desert Diamond, State Farm Stadium. Taxpayers paid to build it, and there are no taxes that they pay in perpetuity, which means forever, okay? What we are proposing is that we are going to buy this land as if it was cleaned up. And remember, it's a toxic landfill. We're going to pay a $40 million non-refundable deposit when it becomes effective shortly, hopefully after this vote on May 16th. And we will begin remediation. Now, yes, there is going to be a community facilities district. It is going to issue bonds. Let's talk about those. They're for infrastructure. They're for remediation. There's a cloud on title. By the way, this is city-owned land. This is its responsibility. Right now, that toxic landfill represents a $210 million environmental liability to the city of Tempe. It caught on fire. The firefighters of Tempe went in and had to deal with a toxic fire. So we are cleaning it up. And yes, what are those bonds? How are they going to be repaid? There are taxes that are going to be created on site. We're asking the city to deploy some of those taxes that are created on site by all of our private real estate to be deployed for that. The rest is going to be paid by us. How? There's a voluntary surcharge, as you just mentioned. When you go buy a ticket, when you go rent a hotel room, when you buy a slice of pizza or a t-shirt, we're going to add a 1 to 2% surcharge. And if you don't want to pay that, you don't have to come on and buy a ticket or buy a pizza or come to a game or stay at the hotels. And then on top of all that, though, we're going to guarantee those bonds with the land that we bought and the real estate that we built with our money. That is it. That is the entire deal. Now, we've asked for a limited duration tax abatement for the arena, for the theater, and for our practice facility of 30 years, and 8 years for the other uses, the hotels. So there are 37 Jeeplets along Tempe Town Lake. State Farm Office Park next to us, to your point, has a 99-year Jeeplet, okay? This is a very common economic development tool. The reality is this toxic landfill has been sitting there for, I believe, 70 years. Everyone has seen it. They know where it's at, and nothing has happened. Zero revenue, zero jobs, and in fact, it's a liability. And so we have created the site's highest and best use as articulated by the city of Tempe's own third-party expert. And why is it the site's highest best use? Because, and I know there's a lot of fans listening here, this is not really an arena project.
Right.
It is a urban redevelopment project that's anchored by an arena. It is 2 hotels. It is the Rodeo Drive in terms of shops and restaurants of Arizona. It is going to be a 4,000 flexible seating theater, 2,000 units of housing, 2 medical office buildings, and an arena and a practice facility and the home of the Arizona Coyotes. And you've seen it. I encourage everyone, please go to TempeWins.com. It is all there. You know, one thing that's, you know this, Craig, because you've been to a handful of our community meetings. Everything we say is public. The documents are public. That development agreement we signed and got a 7-0 approval from the city council of the city of Tempe. It is public. Everything that I say can be fact checked. And unfortunately, we have people who don't want to talk about facts. So to your point, that's a long-winded way of saying we're paying for it. We are responsible for it. Property taxes are not going to go up. Individual taxes are not going to go up. And in fact, this is the first time that a developer is saying, we'll pay for it. Don't get me wrong. My initial foray to the city of Tempe was, you own this piece of land. Why don't you guys clean it up? And then why don't you guys sell it to me? And they said, we don't have the money and we don't want a bond just for that. I said, great. Let's create a structure in which what we build creates enough economic activity that some of the taxes created on site will go to that. The rest, we will impose a surcharge, and then we'll guarantee it. And we'll put a lien on all of our property so that if there's any shortfall ever, you'll just put more assessments on our property that we own,
You pay for.
that is ours. Just like you own your house, you have a lien on it, they'll create another assessment, you end up paying for it. That's the way it works.